You know, Tyler, I haven't closed my pool yet. I have a pool and I haven't closed it. Yeah, well, it's not that cold yet. It's fine. It's really just a one-day thing. Anybody else not have their pool closed yet? Hopefully you have, because I'm getting in trouble for it. Tomorrow. I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. That's my plan. Hold me to it, Tyler. He said, all right. He's going to ask me Thursday. But yes, this October's going by very quickly. Halloween next week. I might do a Halloween-themed show also next week, by the way. We'll see about that. But today it's Kyle Hodsdon. Fall sports flying by. End of the season. Thanksgiving game will be here before you know it for the football. But tournaments, this is like the last week for volleyball I was reading about. Last week for a few of the sports. And that means tournament time is right around the corner. So very excited to be a high school athlete at this time of year as things kind of wind down and you kind of get ready for the big tournament play, and then winter is knocking on the door. So that is well, that's interesting, right? Again, you can follow the show at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. That's at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. And if you're one of those guys, I just got a text from one of my buddies saying he wants to go into Fenway tonight, thinking he actually thinks that I have like a nightlife. But I got a text from one of my buddies saying, let's go in, see if we can get some tickets. If not, we'll go hang out at a restaurant, yada, yada, yada. If you're going into Fenway tonight, I did want to mention this, or any night for any of these games, and thinking of having that similar idea, be careful of fake tickets. Boston police saying there are fake tickets around. Scalpers, especially like in the Kenmore Square area, they're getting very good, and they've always been good, but especially when tickets are worth this much, it's worth them for scalpers and worth for scammers. I guess there's a difference between scammers and scalpers. I think you should probably make that distinction, but scammers, it's worth it for them to take the gamble, sell you a bad ticket, and kind of jump into one of the subway tunnels, jump on the T, and get out of there. So if you have any ideas about that here at any of these coming nights, be careful when buying tickets off the street. You really shouldn't do that anyway. But don't do that. There's a lot of fake tickets out there. Go to try to get them the legit way, whether that be a real secondhand broker or through the Red Sox ticket office. You do not want to lose hundreds, thousands buying a fake ticket on the street. So I'm going to get out of the way. We'll bring in Kyle Hodsdon, Newburyport Athletic Director, here in just a moment. Very excited to have him on. My name is Drew Moholland. Tyler Neufeld producing the radio side. David Kramer on the TV side. Keep it here. We'll be right back. It's Afternoon Drive on Joppa Radio.
Too close.
All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Chopper Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. Hope you're all having a good Tuesday afternoon. Sun just broke out, and then it kind of tucked away again for a moment, but that must have been the arrival of Kyle Hodsdon. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Hey, great. How are you?
Good to have you back on again. How's life? All good?
Life is good here for the last week of the season, so very hectic and busy, and we're excited.
Can you believe it? Last week of the season?
It's flown by, and it's just every day seems like a Monday. The beginning of a new week, and then it's football game night, and then we do it again.
You are a busy man. You get the walkie-talkie in here. Is that for emergencies from the field or what?
We do have games that are beginning soon, so yes, could be.
Yeah, it's tough for you to get in here on an afternoon like this because you guys got on a day like this. How many games you got in action?
Well, some days we have 12. So we have today about 466 kids right now doing something.
No kidding. Newburyport Athletics is going well.
It's going well. We have a home cross-country meet, so there's 135 up there right now. And,
wow.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's exciting. How's the fall season been for you?
Overall, it's been very good.
Yeah.
Some teams maybe have struggled a little bit than what they've done in the past, and some have exceeded their expectations a little bit. But
girls soccer had for the first time in a long time, has kind of had some adversity, which I know was unusual for them. But,
we lost 10 strong players last year.
That is tough when you lose 10, right?
Yeah, but they have a strong group that replaces each year. But to give respect to our opponents, we play a tough schedule, and if our kids don't come to play every night, then we're not going to have the result that we want. So, they're not undefeated in the North like they were last year, and they have a tough one tonight. I think they're 6-7, going to Linfield.
So you're fighting for a tourney berth here.
So they need to win 2 or win 1 in 2 ties to get in, and we still have some tough games remaining.
Are you proud of a group like that because it is tough when you have this run of success and everybody's been gunning for you year after year? You know what it's like to be one of those teams that always has that target on their back. You've been proud of that group though, as far as there's been some adversity, and some teams don't always handle that when it's kind of new.
Right. Yeah,
handle it well.
We're proud of any team that works hard.
Yep.
If they work hard on the preseason, if they work hard in the summer, then yes, we are. This team here, when a team has been dominant like they have the last 5-10 years, at least from what I can see, and then they have a chance when another team has a chance. They smell blood a little bit, and they seize that opportunity. So that's kind of where we're at now. You mentioned having a target on our backs, and teams know that if they want to beat us, this is a pretty good year, or this is their chance.
Yeah.
So we have to play hard, and we do play hard, and we just have to be more consistent. Basically, we play great, and then maybe not so great.
Right.
So.
What's the team under the radar this year that maybe you haven't been paying attention to this fall, but is worth a check here down the stretch?
Well, we've the field hockey team has
Just Lacey, right?
Just Lacey. They've won 9 games, so they were the first team to qualify for the tournament.
Wow.
They played a tough schedule, and they are winning, by 1 or 2 goals, which is significant in that sport.
Yeah.
They have a lot of young players mixed in with some seniors. So we're hoping, they're obviously in the playoffs.
Yep.
We don't know what the seedings will be. We'd like to play at home if they finish strong, and if not, we'd like to advance as far as we can. That's one good group. Volleyball, I had mentioned last month when I was in here. Volleyball, a team that is really in its second year, had won 1 game last year, and then so they've won 4 this year, and they've been very competitive. Winning 1 or 2 games in each match. Yeah. So that's been exciting for us. Boys soccer is qualified.
Yep. What a group that is. That we've had those guys on. They're a what's the word, Tyler? A fun to be around bunch, I would say. I think those soccer guys.
Yeah, they're loose. And
they're loose.
They're free. Yeah, and they play that way, and they
good for a radio show.
Yeah, exactly. They have only lost a couple games, and they've qualified as well. So they've got a couple games left, and if they finish strong, we're hoping that they're hosting a first round game as well. And then that football. You may know that football is at Pentucket. On Saturday, a team that we played just 2 weeks ago. So we're excited to be in the playoffs with football as well.
Absolutely. Can you, I know you don't make a habit of talking about other programs too much. But I do wonder. I hear Triton's going to end up in the playoff this year. How does that happen when they clearly not a they've had a down year?
Well,
it's a whole different structure, right?
Anybody, well, the way our standings go and our seedings go, there's a formula, and it's wins, the win-loss record. It's not percentage. Strength of schedule comes into play,
which is the key there, right?
Yes. Yeah. So the bottom line is they take the top 8 ranked teams, regardless of record, whatever their power points end up being. And Triton was one of the top 8. So they are one of the top 8 because they played a tough schedule.
And they skip over a couple teams that even had a win, but did not have the strength of schedule.
Well, and if you just don't look at the wins part of it, if you just look at the last column over with their PowerPoint and not think about how they got there, just look at that number, that comes into play. So basically, this system is rewarding teams that play a tougher schedule. And maybe this isn't the best system. I think there are some flaws here. But Triton played their schedule. They did what they could do, and they were one of the top 8. So now they're going to get a chance to play. They've already played Swampscott once, and now they're going to get a chance to go there and play them.
They're certainly not going to decline the chance at a playoff game, right?
We'll give them an opportunity, but now they're going to be in the tournament bracket. So it's like us when you're in the tournament. If you lose, you play teams that are in the tournament too. So it's going to be a competitive 3 weeks for them.
The playoff thing for football is so different from when I went to high school. Even I'm 31, so it wasn't that long ago. But it used to be, you get the final 2 teams from each, one team from this side of the conference, one team from the other side of the league. They play each other, and boom, there you go. Now it's this 8-team formula you said, which is just very different. Do you like it, or do you like kind of the old school way?
Well, I wasn't here with the old school way. I hear people talking. This has been an ongoing discussion this is my 4th year.
I bet it is.
And it's ongoing. And we just heard a proposal last week from the Tournament Management Committee within the MIAA. And there's potentially a new proposal in the future for all sports that would be completely different, a drastic change. It would be more of a statewide tournament rather than regional, north, south, east, and west. And it's kind of exciting if it goes that way. It would eliminate maybe playing the team next door always in the first round, which seems to happen, and it would open it up a little bit more. So the Tournament Management Committee is always looking into making improvements. So it's not like this is 1 or 2 people making these decisions. This is a group of people, and the athletic directors are involved. And sometimes, like, the worst case scenario pops up. But this current system is designed to reward teams who play a tough schedule and have success in the regular season. They become the top seed. Problem is, we only have 11 people in our division, in the Division 5 North. So maybe there's too many divisions. So if there were 20 people in our division and you took the top 8, well, then it's going to be more competitive balance, at the top. So there's always going to be teams under 500 in this current system who make the playoffs. Right.
Yeah, that is interesting. And how about as far as like league movement? It's been pretty standard with the teams in your league since you've been here, right? Have you had a couple additions as far as teams joining the Cape Ann League since you've been here?
It has not changed.
It hasn't changed at all.
North Andover had left before I came in. Wilmington had left.
Okay, so you've seen
it's been the same.
So there's actually some stability in the Cape Ann League that across the state, if you look, that's not the case. There's teams joining and jumping out kind of all over the map. I just saw Everett's joining the NEC on the North Shore, which is completely a different world. Every football powerhouse, of course, but
so every year we've had at least one school, if not 2, petition to come in our league, and so we've explored additions.
What do you look at for whether
how is this going to help our league? How will they fit in travel-wise? What sports will they bring? Which division would they be in? Basically, what are the positives? What are the negatives? Travel's a big one. Going on especially in the winter, a night game. Too far away. Is it a traffic area? So those are some
things you don't always think about. Is just if you're picking up the newspaper every morning, right? It's that was a road game where those kids had to travel 2.5 hours through rush hour traffic or something, right?
Right. Well, in Maine and New Hampshire, they don't have it regionally. The leagues aren't by region; they're by enrollment. So Massachusetts is a little bit bigger, a little bit harder to do it that way. But you wouldn't have in those states. You wouldn't have a school like Masco with 1,200 or 1,300 playing against a school like Georgetown with 2 or 300.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen. But I don't know how Masco would find opponents if they didn't have a league like that, or Georgetown. So it works out. And then when the regular season's over, we all go our separate ways.
Yep.
Masco plays in their tournament, Georgetown plays in theirs, and we all root for each other.
That was my question. Do you always root for a group like that when they go off and play?
Always, yeah.
Always?
And
because it's good for the league.
it's great for the league.
Even if you're bitter rivals.
Last year, girls soccer, our girls team had won Division 2 North, and Amesbury girls won Division 3 North. So we're playing at Manning Field, and we've got 2 Cape Ann leagues playing back-to-back in the state semifinals.
It's good exposure.
Which was great. And under the new proposal, we could potentially play a team in our league in the state championship.
Wow.
Because it would be seeded that way. I mean, this is really early in the stages, but that's one of the positives that could come from that.
Gotcha. Speaking here with Newburyport Athletic Director Kyle Hodsdon, nice enough to join us on a busy Tuesday afternoon. He's going to be jumping to fields here in a little bit. And where are you going? Where are you going first off?
I'm going across country. It's our last meet of the year at home. And that
Aquaviva kid's pretty good, huh? Sam Aquaviva?
He's about as good as they get. He just had the second fastest time at Maudsley last week, and
it's second fastest ever.
Wow, ever. And so we play Amesbury, run against Amesbury today, and our boys have won. They're undefeated. They've won the Cal title. Our girls have lost one game. They lost to Triton one meet.
Yep.
And
you must get it all mixed up.
I tweet the wrong things too. People let me know it, but they've only lost one meet by it was 30-25. So that's like a runner finishing 2 earlier, and that girl finishing 3.
Really?
That close. It was to Triton. Triton's undefeated. Right. But both our teams are doing very well. They should do well regionally at the state level as well. So I'm going to head up there and see that.
You're one of the athletic directors, though, and you said people give you some heat for it when you mess up, but you're one of the athletic directors who really takes advantage of the Twitter and the social networking. I find you're one of the best as far as communicating with people in that regard.
Thank you. Well, we have a lot of followers. We have a lot of people that want to know results, and we don't have a lot on Twitter with kids. Kids are into Instagram, so
it is true, isn't it? They love the Instagram.
When I got here, I would tweet out things, and there would be no likes to it. The kids had no idea, so I learned about Instagram 4 years ago, and now I can put something on Instagram. It goes right to Twitter, so that way the adults and the rest of the state or whoever wants to see it can see it on Twitter, and the kids can see it on Instagram.
It is important. I find, and whenever I talk to the kids in here, they always talk about how you're one of the most hands-on athletic directors too. Somebody like I never really talked to my AD back when I was in high school. I don't even remember the name of the athletic director, to be honest with you. And they all know you. They seem to say they can talk to you at any point, which I think that all kind of plays into that dynamic of being able to change with the times and relate to the kids, right?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, we try to include our athletes. We have a captain's council. We have 52 kids, student athletes.
I had not heard that, captain's council.
Yeah, who are involved, and they, we don't meet as often as we should, but we meet once a month on a half a day, and we talk about different things, and we have projects coming up soon, and we try to include them, and my office is open, and they know they can come in. So
yeah, I think they got that message. I wonder. I always ask you this when you come in. It is a ever-changing world of the high school coaching landscape as far as changes go and all that. What should we know as far as coaches coming in, coaches going out, that sort of thing, for whether it be this season or looking ahead?
Sure. Yeah, the winter is. We have Karen Gretchfield, who comes to us. She's won a state championship. She has taken time off of the family.
Okay.
Yep. The family. But she played at Holy Cross. She teaches at St. John's Prep right now, and won a state championship at Wakefield.
Okay.
And had a 4-year stretch about as good as anybody has had.
I'm mixing it up. What sport again? Sorry.
This is girls basketball.
Girls basketball.
Yeah, so she's replaced Greg Dawes, who's now at Amesbury.
Yep.
So we're real excited to have her. We're lucky that someone with her experience and her proven background.
Yep.
The rest of the winter coaches are intact. In the spring, everybody is intact except for Nick Impressi, our boys lacrosse coach, who has resigned. So that position is advertised right now, and we're hoping in the next 2 weeks to have someone in place there.
All right. And Nick was a young coach. We had him on a few times. You actually have a good, kind of a good mix of young and older coaches. You know, I guess it's all relative. But I was thinking, you had said like Jess, who we had on the show, Jess Lacey. She's got the field hockey program really cooking right now, and she seemed like one of those coaches that was really good at relating to the kids. And it seems like she's obviously been able to galvanize the field hockey squad there to make a tournament run, which I know you must be proud of that group. And field hockey can be a tough sport to qualify for the tournament. So I'm sure you're pretty happy with the field hockey team.
Yeah, field hockey. You know, they've got a good group.
Yeah.
They've worked hard. They do a lot with a lot of extra things. They have a breast cancer awareness game, and that was.
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot of those just from other schools or from our school. And what they did this year was by far the most moving. Had the biggest impact. They had some breast cancer survivors in attendance.
Yep.
And each player grabbed the microphone and spoke why they were playing. They were playing this game for this person.
Every one of them.
Some of them may have been in attendance, a former teacher, a resource officer, Meg Tierney, or somebody.
Yeah.
But the way we did it was unintentional, but it ended up having a bigger impact. Is our cordless microphone went missing for a week because I think the people who televised the game accidentally took it, and we didn't know that.
Was that us?
So
Tyler's being quiet.
So we didn't have a cordless mic, so we had a hardwire mic. So we were planning on doing it on the field.
Gotcha.
So the players had to come through the stands, and it had a bigger impact when they left after they made their speeches. Then they walked through the crowd, and there was a big ovation, and we couldn't have planned it better than that.
That is cool.
But
New tradition?
I hope so. It's up to that was all just Lacey,
Yeah.
her idea, and. So in addition to their wins, they do things like that. They have done a middle school breast cancer awareness tournament. They do something with flamingos to raise money. So there's just that's girls soccer. I'm sorry, but there's just a lot that our teams do, not just field hockey, with raising some type of awareness.
That was awesome too to see the. I had happened to talk to. We had Jess on a couple weeks before, and I read in the paper, I think, or maybe on Twitter, that that was going to be going on that night, and I was curious. I knew they had a game that day, but I said, hey, any captains got like 10 minutes? Just come by and it'd be nice to maybe just say one thing. And she was like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'll get the captains over. And the captains show up here. They had the face paint on and everything, and I just thought they were just completely dedicated. They couldn't have been happier on game day to stop in here for just 10-15 minutes and talk about the night, which I thought was, really cool. You don't always get that. It's game day. I understand not wanting to be pulled away, but they're happy to promote it, and they thought it was a cool thing they were doing. So
and that's typical of that program, but I think it's typical of our athletes too.
Yeah.
Of who, if somebody was available today, it would have been easy to have somebody come in and speak with you. We never have a problem.
Yeah.
It's just trying to spread the wealth and get a variety of people in here.
No, it is true. It's been a great community in that regard as far as support here, and hopefully it's felt both ways. I wonder, as we go to the playoffs here, is this kind of the time for the athletic director where it gets fun? It's not so much. I'm sure you love your job all 12 months of the year, but here, you kind of, the scheduling is essentially, you're always looking ahead, I guess, to the next season, but here you go. This is where the work is paid off. It's to watch your teams that have had good seasons, and let's see if we can make tournament runs. Is this kind of the fun part for you to watch this?
Yeah, it's fun because it becomes a little more personal, or I become maybe a little bit more involved with the program because there's a little more emphasis on each team as they prepare.
Yep.
So we try to do, Kathy Cutter, my assistant, and myself, we try to do whatever we can for every team all season. But now it becomes very specific. When a team has a known game, football is playing at Pentucket at 1:30 on Saturday, what can we do now to make Coach Smolsky's job and his staff as easy and stress-free as possible, and just let them focus on the game? And how can we make sure the practice schedule is advantageous to them, and we bounce some other teams around and give priority to the teams that are playing the soonest, and so I hope our coaches feel supported, because really that's my job, is to work for them, to work for our students, and hopefully make their job easier so they can just coach and our athletes can just play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle Hodsdon here, final couple minutes, athletic director at Newburyport. And, you know, I mentioned a bunch of the young coaches you got, and I started that question by saying that you got a mix, too. We had Coach Paul Yameen in here the other day. He actually, I did it to him again here, but he yelled at me. He said, "You saying I'm the old guy?" Or, but you do have that good mix of veteran coaches and young coaches. The relationship with some of the guys that have been here for a while, and you got a few of those, too. It seems like you've been able to maintain a strong relationship with those core people as well. And how many times do you see an athletic director come in and some of the coaches are like, "It's a different regime. It's time to it's time for me to go a different way." But that has not really happened with you, and I think it's probably a sense of pride for you as well.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when I arrived 4 years ago, I inherited a strong coaching staff.
Yeah.
So it made it easy.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason. You know, whenever we have a coaching vacancy, we have strong applicants too.
Yep.
I mean, we're not begging someone to take our position. We usually have 3 or 4 or 5 highly qualified people who can step in. So that says something about the tradition here at Newburyport. So the people who, you know, we've had a few retirements, a few people have moved on since I've been here. And I'm hoping that, like Don Henniger, for example, has been
Yep.
here and had a lot of success.
Yep.
You know, I'm hoping we can hang on to him as long as we
Keep
can.
going.
He does such a great job with that program, not just with the top runners, but everybody. Number 1 through 136 have a role and a place, and
Yep.
he makes everybody feel important. So it's people like that make my job easier.
Yeah.
And we do have, you say, a mix of people. You know, it's really a mix of experience, because to me, like, the age doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the experience. We'll say the younger players, coaches, if we want to say that, maybe have a little bit different approach than an older style.
Yep.
So there's good and bad with both, and we're trying something like a mentoring program so that we could work together closer as a department and take Coach Yameen's strengths and share that across the board, and take Coach Henniger's and then Coach Shalacy's, and have an ongoing dialogue, so that what works for you and why do you do that. And
It's always good when coaches talk, right?
If the good coaches, when they talk, it's good. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. And I wonder too, when you go through the hiring processes and bringing in a new group, do you bounce things off those coaches, the ones that you've developed these relationships with? You know, maybe you don't even know somebody that well, but if you're bringing somebody in, I don't know, what do you know about this person? Have you heard anything? Do you do that?
There are confidentiality issues when we go through interviews, so we really keep that with the interview committee.
Gotcha.
But our interview committee usually consists of, obviously, myself, usually a couple of coaches, 1 or 2 athletes, sometimes an administrator, sometimes, maybe a parent or maybe a youth organizer or something like that. But it's really coaches on our staff, and I try to have coaches that maybe share the same athletes.
Yep.
Or maybe a coach, like when we hired Karen Gretchfield for girls basketball, Dave Clay, our boys coach,
Yep.
who would be working with her with gym times and things like that. He was on the committee. His expertise obviously is basketball as well. So I seek their input, and it's any hire we make is not my decision; it's our decision, and I make the recommendation, but it's a group effort. And once they interview, then we would call references, and it's a pretty small state, even though it's highly populated. But it's somewhat easy to Google somebody and find out information. But we have like I'd say boys lacrosse, for example. That opening right now, we have strong candidates, and I'm looking forward to meeting them.
Absolutely. It sounds like it's been a fun fall for you. Any obstacles?
Tuesday rain.
Tuesday
It
rain.
rained like
That is
5
a
weeks
thing.
in a
I was
row.
looking on Twitter. I saw Dan Thornton at Pentucket was complaining about Tuesday rain, and that's been a real thing, huh?
It's been tough, and getting grass cut for field hockey at the lower levels, with the rain, and it's just, but there's no complaints. We have enough fields. When I arrived here, we had lack of field issues with no turf, and two other fields weren't done, so we're in really good shape right now, and looking forward to a strong playoff run.
Very good, Kyle Hodsdon. Why don't you give a pitch to the Newburyport community to come out and support the teams as they go through their tournaments there? I'm sure.
MIA playoff prices, they keep them real low for you. And
great value, right?
Yeah, it actually is. Our athletes and coaches and parents have worked really hard for the season, and maybe people haven't had a chance to see them play, but maybe people aren't involved. But this is a chance to be in attendance and show support, and that might be a difference in a game.
Yeah.
And I know, believe it or not, our athletes want fans. It's important to them to have people in the stands, and they make that comment: can we play at this time? Can we do this? There's not going to be anybody there. Whereas a coach and myself, we're thinking, X's and O's or other logistics. They want to come out of the tunnel or whatever and see people in the stands. So
if you think it doesn't make a difference, you're wrong, huh?
That's it.
And there you go. Well, Kyle Hodsdon, I'm going to let you take that fancy walkie-talkie of yours there and get to all the fields you need to get to today. And I appreciate you very much making time for us. I know it's a very busy Tuesday that is not really raining, although it's some rain in the forecast, but I think we're dry at the moment. So I know you get a lot to get to, and as always, really appreciate you making a few minutes for us here on Joppa Radio Afternoon Drive. And until next time, I wish you the best throughout the tournament. We'll catch up with you here. We'll see you when we see you, as we always say. It's probably not too far ahead.
Yeah, hopefully just before the winter season gets rolling.
There you go. Sounds good. Kyle Hodsdon, the AD at Newburyport, always nice enough to join us, and joining us on a very busy Tuesday. I know that just look at the Newburyport schedule today. You'll see he really made some time for us, so we appreciate it very much. Kyle Hodsdon. Keep it here. We'll bring it home after this break. It's Afternoon Drive. My name's Drew Moholland, Joppa Radio.
She's a hungry girl, but she's got plenty to eat. She still longs for something more. I wonder what she's hungry for. She's a hungry girl. She's not just looking to get happy. She knows there's a deeper vein. She's looking for some meaning, looking for a plan. She's gonna break bread with truth and beauty in this world of lies. Swallow her pride, really open up her eyes. She's a thirsty girl. She's drinking in this whole wide world. There's so much from which to choose. She drinks too much and she gets confused. She's a thirsty girl. She was a baby girl, ribbons and dresses and curls. She cracked the oyster, found the pearl. Now her head's held high and her flag's unfurled. Hungry for life, she's a very thirsty girl. She's a thirsty girl. She's drinking in this whole wide world. There's so much from which to choose. She drinks too much and she gets confused. She's a thirsty girl. She's a thirsty girl, drinking in this whole wide world. There's so much from which to choose. She drinks too much and she gets confused. She's a thirsty girl. She's a thirsty girl.
All right, welcome back to Afternoon Drive here on Joppa Radio. My name is Drew Moholland. A big thanks to Kyle Hodsdon for stopping by there on a very busy day of Newburyport athletics as the fall season comes to an end. I forgot Tyler wasn't here. I have to hit the old thing here. Producer gone. Tyler Neufeld, thank you again for producing the radio show. He just ran off. Sarah, you let him go early here. Sarah Hayden, the boss, joining us. Yeah, where was he running off to?
He wanted to see his sister run it in cross country. It's Katrina Neufeld.
There you go.
And he is on his way to see his sister run.
That's good. It was funny.
He's actually a runner himself.
Tyler is?
Yes.
Yes. He doesn't. I don't think he enjoys running, but he's actually a runner.
I think he does enjoy running, but he doesn't. I don't think he likes to have to do it at night or something like that.
And he also doesn't like getting up early. Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah, we had the.
I didn't hear about that.
We're talking about the. Who was on last time? The superintendent. We're talking about start times, possibility of early start times.
I love getting up early.
I do too. Well, not as early as I do. I'd like a couple extra hours, but Tyler was. He had told me he thinks they should have the later start time. It's a big debate across the whole state, of course, and the nation, really. And the superintendent was saying that they talk about this quite often, and Tyler was making his voice heard. I like to sleep in.
Yeah, I'm curious. What did the superintendent? I haven't watched that show. I'd like to watch it. I'm behind a little bit.
Well, you can on the Port Media stream, right? On YouTube.
So on our video on demand are the shows. Some of the I was just talking to David because one of your shows with Molly and the mayor was taken down because this really bizarre.
Did we do something?
No, it's a classical song that keeps popping up. It's very weird. We're going to take it out of the whole thing because it was banned worldwide.
Really?
Worldwide. You know why? Because it's come up repeatedly that they've said it's copyright. First of all, I don't even know what's playing. I have no idea. We're going to take it out. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, if you play a song that's copyrighted, YouTube has this amazing technology, where this recognizes it, knows that you don't own the music, and immediately they take the whole show down, right?
Yeah, well, they'll say it's going to be monetized, which it always says, you're not in trouble. It'll be monetized. Or
it says you're not in trouble?
Yes, it says, don't worry, you're not in trouble.
Does it really?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
But every week we get right after the YouTube thing comes because it will play a song which is copyright, but most of the songs which I've worked to try to get all local music because we have permission from local artists to play the music. It's just that YouTube doesn't know that, and I need to really like to get it in writing because before I go up against YouTube, I'm sure they're going to say send us the documentation.
Sarah Hayden versus YouTube.
Exactly. And I'm just not in I will win. But I'm not in the I can't fight it yet. But that's the weird. It's a piano sonata. It's bizarre. It's really strange.
I'm actually looking to make sure it's not on our board right now, as a matter of fact.
I'm taking it out because I think the way that things are scheduled, I think it might
in rotation or something.
Up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch that.
That's a big part of the show, the piano sonata here,
Yeah, that's it. So anyway, people can see it on our ncmhub.org on the share page. All the channels all have VODs, so you just click on VOD. Yep.
Well, he was an interesting guy, just interesting interview. But yeah, that was the debate start times. He did not take a stance. Mm-hmm. It was he just told me that they're constantly talking about it, pros and cons.
Yeah, I think it's hard because they now have so much after school, so much sports. I don't know. Are they talking about an hour?
Yes. What did he say? He said there are some schools locally. I want to say in I don't think it's Wilmington, but like in that area, a bunch of schools, 5 communities went to 8:30, I think.
So that's a good hour. Well, that means that all the sports and everything gets pushed from 2:35 to 3:35 or something like that, which isn't too bad. It's
Coaches don't love that.
No, and it gets dark early.
Yeah, especially you can see that this time. I hate it when it gets dark early. It's starting to happen here.
Yeah, it is. It is. I heard some nice things from Kyle on that last show. That's always nice to hear.
Oh, on this one? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you like?
I liked that he said people like to come in and converse with you, and they're enjoying it because we love having the students coming in, of course, and the coaches. And I like seeing kids from different schools. I think that's great to be supportive. I'd love to get some of the theater folks in and some of the other departments, but it is kind of hard because they're they're practicing, I guess, right after school, and they can't get in here. But
yeah, it's well, we work within that framework, of course. But yeah, we definitely feel that the kids love coming on. We like the kids.
Yeah, maybe post spam a lot in Newburyport, so right after the show is over, they can come in.
You're excited about this spam a lot.
Well, I only have one day to see because I'm going to Germany during their whole production time, except the last night they have it. I'll be flying back, and I think I get here at like 3:30 or something.
From Germany to spam a lot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to Germany.
I'm going to Germany to the I think it's the 6th or 5th International Fascia Congress, Research Congress on the fascia, which is a side thing I like.
Wow. So what exactly what are you doing?
Well, there's tons of research that they talk about and they present. They have all of the top researchers from all over the world. It's unbelievable. It's in Berlin, and of course they have activities to do as well. But many of them I've met before, either in smaller workshops, but it's really quite fascinating. It's really slowly entering athletics too, which I had this tiny little conversation with Paul Yamin. I didn't quite pounce on him with my fascia information. He was looking at me, said, I can show you some squats, Sarah, because it looks like you might need them, but I didn't want to tell him.
I'm sure he said that in the politest of ways.
I can actually squat and get up with not one pain, which is pretty good, I think, for 61 and not in the best shape.
61, I don't believe it.
Yeah, 61. Harry, you don't believe it. I don't believe it either.
That is funny. I would have paid money to see that conversation with Coach Amin there.
No, I really learned a little bit about Coach Amin. I think he is much more I don't know what the word. He's definitely very supportive of his team, the kids that are there, but I think he has very high expectations. And if you're going to be doing hockey or any kind of program that he's going to be working with, if he says, hey, I want to see you in the gym, and he has good reason for that. He wants to be sure you're strong and you're flexible and you're able to move when you actually get out when the season starts instead of getting hit and injured. So I think that's great. And he did offer to give me a program if I was interested.
Very happy. He did. He offered a program?
He did. He said, I can write you up a program. It would consist of squats. It's all stuff he does in the morning. He said it's like very, it's the basic stuff, the squats, the lunges, probably ab work. I don't know.
So this is what's going on while I'm doing my intros
right
here in the morning. Yeah, it's good to know. I always see you talking out there. I'm always wondering, what in the world are they talking about?
I'm just getting information.
Another man, Coach Amin, who not a fan of early or later start times.
Well,
early bird.
Yes, because often hockey they can have early practices.
Yeah.
At least I think that's what they have.
I think so. Yeah, I forget what their schedule is. In general, he's a morning owl. He's a big golfer. He's like me. We play a lot of golf. We get up early.
The heat's on in here, I just realized.
Oh, yeah. You okay?
I switched from air conditioning to heat, and yeah, it's hot.
Yeah. Is this place, what is this place? Is it oil or gas?
It's gas.
It is?
It's forced hot air, I believe. So, yeah.
Interesting.
It's pretty efficient, though, because it's such a small room, but our unit's a little under tonnage or something like that.
Under tonnage?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
It's a scientific way of... I'm living with
tonnage.
oil for the first time in my life back in Danvers.
That can be alarming when you get an oil fill.
It's different.
Bill.
Well, yeah. You can do different things with it, though. It's not that... It's different, but it's, you can do budgets and still pay monthly and stuff.
You got to be on top of it, though, because you can be like 4 feet deep in snow, and then the oil needs to be filled.
Yes. And they just kind of, you don't pay attention, but I guess the rule with the oil is you don't want it to, get all the way to the bottom, like when the line is a quarter
Sludge.
full. Yeah, because it gets scoops up like your gas tank. It scoops up a bunch of all the stuff at the bottom that isn't good. So they always try to stay on top of it. So I remember last winter when it was really cold. We had I felt like the truck was there 2 weeks ago, and then we had that cold snap and stuff. I was like, oh man, they're back. We must be.
Well, speaking of the cold snap, I know we're switching topics back and forth. I drove
kind of what
Lawrence.
We do. We bounce around.
I went to Lawrence I was driving a friend over there to pick something up, and I really couldn't believe it. All of it. This was Sunday at 6:00. National Grid everywhere. I mean, just guys just working all over the place.
Yeah.
Things are dug up. There's tractors and diggers everywhere. Roads closed. And then we went by this one section of
Columbia,
the parking
right?
lot. Lawrence? Oh, yeah, Columbia Gas.
Yeah,
well, no, there's people They were actually, some of the guys that were there were asking, where are you guys from? And they're from all over, all over. So they're not, some of the said National Grid, I think, on the streets. I think they have just extra help.
People helping, yeah.
Tons. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Roads closed everywhere. This is Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we went by a parking lot that had... It was at least 100 trailers. It probably was more. They were just lined up. It really makes you think, like, wow.
Every time we get, like the other night was one of those, we had a really cold night the other night, cold of the year. I think about them consistently, all those people without heat and hot water.
It's really astonishing. You know,
take it for granted when you take that hot shower in the morning, don't you?
Yeah. No, and then I was just thinking that makes me think about all the people that go through these hurricanes and all these disasters, that everything is just stripped and ripped away, and all of the infrastructure and everything. It just must be very alarming. That's all I can say. I'm just grateful.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's great that they have the trailers and all that, but even some of the families that are in those things, they got
couldn't believe it.
Husband, wife, 3 kids. These trailers are not exactly... They're small. They're small, yeah.
They're like the 22, 25-foot kind of trailer, that size.
I was listening to an interview with one of the guys, and he was saying it's like, it is a nice option. This is obviously a big natural disaster that nobody could predict, but it is tough living in a trailer. It really is, with a family, full family.
Yes. Well, yeah. I think that, I'd like to think there maybe could have been avoided.
Yes.
Particularly when you're on a gas line, you think, gosh, I never even knew that could happen.
It is scary, isn't it? When we had Mayor Holiday on, it was interesting to hear her perspective, because she was away at the climate conference, if you remember. Oh, yes, so I do. She was, and that came up, and I said that must have been very nerve-wracking for you to hear that all these towns in the Merrimack Valley, all these towns surrounding you, or just outside of you, are having these explosions and these fires, and your probably first thought is this going to rip through Newburyport? And she said that is exactly my first thought, and I immediately went into the call everybody I need to call mode, and from the West Coast, which I thought was kind of an interesting perspective. But think about every mayor, every town manager, everybody in all these communities must have been doing the same thing.
Well, it's frightening. You just don't know how that could have happened, and is it going to stop? And it really was quite alarming. It
is, yeah, and crazy to look back on. That was a wild night. That night, certainly.
Well, they're now still in cold. I mean,
I think I read 80%. They had to repair like 46, I think, miles of pipeline. It's
unbelievable.
And they're at like 37 they're close to 30.
And, I heard that, in people's homes, the pressure and stuff like that has, ruined their hot water, their gas, like their dryers, all these different appliances and fixtures have to be replaced. Oh, what a mess. I'm just grateful that I'm living in Newburyport in my house that works.
Absolutely. Be thankful, because that's, you don't think about that stuff until you lose it, really. And there's scams going on. Of course, every time you have these things and people are vulnerable, you have people that are looking to take advantage. And I guess the deal is, if anybody's checking in from any of those communities, they have people that are leaving notes in your door saying, sorry, we missed you, with a phone number.
Absolutely.
And horrible. The goal is you're supposed to call back, and their goal of the scammers is to get into your house. They say, oh, hey, we got to come by and check this out. Next thing you know, somebody is at your door who you think because you've talked to, and then they're in your house and doing whatever they're...
You know what they had? The city sent out for here. They were going to do some assessments, and it's somebody who was new to the city. I think I wasn't familiar, but they did send out a notice in the mail that that your house has not been assessed in a while, and this is the person, and this is what he looks like, and therefore, if someone says they're coming for that reason, this is the only person that you should be opening the door to. So that was I was impressed with that.
That is helpful.
Nice work.
That is good work. Yeah. Yes, but certainly a crazy situation there in the Merrimack Valley. Hopefully they get that all fixed and do all their testing. I don't think it ends after you fix the pipeline. I think they got to do all this crazy testing and make sure everything's safe again. But hopefully
they got to replace appliances, and oh my gosh,
November 19th I think was their date. So hopefully they make that, because you can already tell it's getting a little colder around here.
Oh, and the roads. I mean, the roads are all through Lawrence are hacked up, and that's I don't know if they have to be responsible for relaying pavement.
On a much lighter note, to get into the World Series?
Did
you kind of born into it around here?
No. Well, my husband doesn't really watch much. My son wasn't too big on World Series, but my mom always watched it, so I was involved at that time. But she is not with us anymore, so I'm not as keen on it. But I'm always for whatever the local. My husband always goes for the underdog. I always go for whoever,
Yep.
Massachusetts. What can
There
I say?
you go. Well, game 1 tonight for the Red Sox. So
I
it
heard
is
you say
fun.
James Taylor's gonna.
Yes, James
That's what
Taylor's
I'm a
doing
fan
that.
of
You were
James
listening.
Taylor.
Very nice.
Yes,
You
I-
enjoyed today's show.
Yes, I did, and I do like James Taylor.
I do
He's
too.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
do too. He did it. Actually, do you remember his story in 2013? He did the post-marathon bombings the year they won. He came out to do the national anthem, and part of a tribute to the marathon bombings and the victims, especially there were many of them there, was he was going to come out during the 7th inning, and instead of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, or in addition to, I can't remember, may have been in addition to, but he was also going to play Oh Beautiful, and which was a nice patriotic moment. And when he went to go start the national anthem, he got the set list confused and started to play Oh Beautiful, and then quickly changed into the Star Spangled Banner, which was
That's
pretty
funny.
But yeah, he's certainly a local favorite. You ever seen him?
I have seen
too.
him. I've seen his brother. I've seen Carly Simon. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, I said I'm 61. I used to see him at the Paradise.
Yep.
Yeah, down in Boston. That
He
was
kind of
great.
he lived a rock star life for a man who has such kind of the low key smooth
Yeah,
music.
I mean, there were a lot of guys during that time. There's Dan Fogelberg,
Yeah.
Jonathan Edwards, Poussette Dart, a bunch of guys that were just,
Yeah. Those were crazy
really
times.
good. Yeah, really good musicians. I remember the Paradise. People were smoking there. I can remember that.
Yep. Yeah.
Ugh.
Paradise, nice small venue. I still
Yes.
love those small little venues.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And you may have heard me mention Carl Yastrzemski will be throwing out the first pitch tonight, which was
That's
yeah,
impressive.
My uncles will be very pleased with that. Guys like my uncles, they're all some late 50s, some early 60s. Loved Carl Yastrzemski.
That is a name that is again in my history.
Folk hero kind of guy. Like
Yeah.
he says, yeah, you as much as I love Ortiz was great to watch all those years. Big Papi, Yaz was my guy. That's what my uncle says. So I don't know, it always sticks with me. So he'll enjoy that tonight. But should be fun. It's nice to see the community come together and root for the local nine.
It's awesome. I hope they win.
There you go. Parades are fun around here. Final 30 seconds. Any programming notes we need to know?
Nope, we're just really still working hard on the infrastructure here, and it's slowly coming together. It just takes a lot of hours to do technical things.
The heat works.
Yeah, the heat works.
That's Sarah Hayden. Sarah, thanks for jumping in. It was good to see Kyle Hodsdon as well. Fun little show here on a Tuesday. Actually came together quite nicely. Tyler Neufeld producing the radio side, being a good big brother. Be good big
Yes,
brother.
big brother.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously his sister's a high school runner. Going to see the high school meet today. Thank you, Tyler, and David Kramer on the TV production side. Hello to everybody watching at home and on YouTube and all that good stuff. Don't forget, you can catch all the other old shows too that Sarah was mentioning on the YouTube Port Media YouTube station. So
Or on the NCM Hub, ncmhub.org.
There you go. I got to get
Under
used
the
to saying
share.
that. That's
Yeah.
right. Excellent. I'm going to write that one down. I don't have
All
that one.
Drew all the time.
Whoa.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot of
Nobody,
Drew shows.
Ask my wife. Nobody can take that. We will be back next Thursday. Caleb's going to be on. Caleb.
Awesome. Caleb Noble, Saintly Cider, and also the executive director, sort of like Access and Community Television over in Newbury.
There you go. You know everybody.
Ah,
Caleb, it's a good time of year to talk cider. People like to have cider in the fall and all that stuff.
and he takes care of horses too. Caleb's just awesome.
He is a good guy. Yeah, he was an entertaining guest and a business owner too. So it's always fun to listen to business owners and see how they do it. So we will do that Thursday, same time, same place, right here. Don't forget, follow us at Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. That is at Joppa, Joppa Afternoons on Twitter. My name is Drew Moholland. We will see you Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye now.
I met you in the golden time of autumn leaves and pumpkin frost. You walked in at 8:30, brash and late the first day of school. Jason was just 10 years old when you lived up on Olive Street. Close my eyes and I can see his artwork on the wall. All the times I remember then, a building trust and a skeleton come back to me like a strong wind, help to mold the friendship we have now. like an old